this has got to be fate. This has got to be destiny. Over and over again, across different years of the M Series, these teams, royalty in their own right, keep bumping to each other in the group stage, in the knockouts, and we're closing off tonight's broadcast with just that. Welcome back to the M5 World Championships. At your service, my name is Leo, here with Naisu and Gideon, and we're about to witness a best of three between Blacklist International, the hometown heroes, going up against the indomitable champions of Brazil, RRQ Akira.
Now before that, we also have to thank our sponsors, of course. The M5 World Championship is powered by Moonton, presented by Kadia, and supported by ROG, the official gaming phone. Grab, the official super app partner, and of course, Secret Lab, our official chair partner.
Thank you to our lovely sponsors. M5 would not be possible without your support.
It's been a long day here at the M5 World Championships. We are live broadcasting from the EVM Convention Center, and we are in a packed house. Everyone came on through despite the day running a little longer than we expected, given the 3-game series that we started with. Yet, we're all still here. Thank you so much for making time in your day, in your weekend, to spend with us here to celebrate MLBB esports at its highest level. Speaking of which, if you don't already know, the ROG Phone 6 is M5's official gaming phone, and it packs the game-winning power of the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset with a class-leading Game Cool 6 thermal system that lets you break every limit.
It also comes with a spectacular 165 Hz AMOLED display and a monster 6,000 mAh battery, life to power you through your gaming needs.
Dude, check out RRQ Akira doing their ping checks with the ROG Phone 6 in their hands. Silky, smooth gameplay, and of course, I'm pretty sure the RRQ Akira boys are ready to game.
I have sworn by the ROG phone for years now, year after year. Never look back. This is the phone to get. This is the phone to use. And that's what we're on here tonight, all throughout the M5 World Championships.
You know, I'm glad, Leo, that, after watching you use the ROG phone for so long, I finally got my hands on it. And I can say it's a beauty to play on. And, as we take a closer look at this, you have to appreciate the fact that you get to play on a phone like that with a game like this, in a tournament like this. It's just amazing.
It's what the champions use. Folks, let's reel back into the action, the topic at hand. Once again, if you don't know, back to back now, Blacklist International keeps bumping into RRQ Akira. This same, in spirit, 5-man squad, even with their coach, Coach Cabral, seems to never catch a break. They always find a way to match up.
Yep, I mean, these groups have always been tough, but especially this particular matchup, they never seem to leave away from it. Especially now that we are seeing a different iteration of Blacklist International compared to a couple previous years. The Hitman, once again, against Luis, the GOAT, coming in for South America.
Yeah, I love that, because that's where our eyes are going to be on, but really, any lane that you look, there's a story to tell there, right? But of course, even getting a chance to have, Luis on our podcast that we did back with Mangine, if you guys caught that, it was great to kind of hear from, his point of view, how things were going and everything like that, because again, this is a team that has been doing so great and dominating so much, and going against a familiar foe like Blacklist International, despite it being a different iteration here, who knows what's going to be in store for us?
I have to be honest, it's actually bittersweet. I'm Filipino, I'm for Blacklist, but this team, RRQ Akira, Luis specifically, Tekash, very close to my heart. So to help us unravel and understand, digest this matchup, we have on the line a friend of ours from all the way in Brazil, analyst for MPL Brazil and Liga Latam, it's Enrique. Enrique! Hello!
Hello!
Mi irmão, how are you?
Hello, guys. You're fine? Listen to me?
You got
It's
us.
Ken, by the way, Enrique, Leo here.
Now?
Yes!
Hey, my bro, what's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Here with
Hi, guys,
Naisu
big fan here.
and Gideon. Naisu, you got a question for Enrique?
Yeah, so Enrique, I got to ask you, man, because I know we don't have too much time here, but specifically these regions, these teams, they've been going against each other. They have a history. How do you think this time it's different for M5? Is it going to be a different result? How do you think you guys over there in Brazil will fare here with RRQ Akira?
So guys, well, different M4 to now M5 to RQ Akira is because now they have more Brazilians with them, so they do not feel so alone. And now they just got good food because that's some injuries of them. And I think now they are just okay, just fine, more, how can I say, chill.
Oh, I mean, chill is one way to put it.
Yeah.
From analyst to analyst, I'm curious, Enrique. Tell me, what's the secret sauce of RRQ Akira? What's their style? What's their identity?
I think it is synergy because they love to work together. And what we have about Big Transons, what you all see, they are more like individuals, so it's different about that.
All right, I guess it's about putting it together. And for years now, RRQ Akira have dominated their region. South America is never going to be the same. How is that like for your scene? Talk to me about what MPL Brazil is looking like, about Liga Latam. Is it always going to be RRQ Akira?
Man, I'm searching for what will be the newest team to beat RRQ because it's something like it's getting tired of because I need to know about other teams to win RRQ because I see a lot, okay, we will now go to MPL Season 6 in Brazil, but we all know RRQ will win again. This is bad. It's sad for me as an analyst, as a guy who just worked with the game. So I don't know. Until I need some more things. I know like the region is going to more and more because of them. I appreciate all the work of these boys, but I need more exciting. Be more excited about them.
I agree. Again, flavor is the spice of life, and we put up a graphic that talks about what Brazilian MLBB is like. And do you agree? In the past year, 2023, you guys have picked up more Indonesian and Filipino gameplay styles. Is that something you've observed?
Yes, because we know a lot about Cabral because he have a lineup conversation with RRQ. So I know that he just watch about a lot of games and know he chat a lot with have a lot of conversation with other region. So I think you know.
All right. Before we wrap up, do you have a last message for all the fans watching here in EVM Convention Center, live in the studio? What's your message for all the for the fans here at M5?
Really, I like to appreciate it all because I love too much work with all you guys. It's an honor to be here with you. Big fan here for all your castings, okay? Be good, have a good life, that's it.
All right, Enrique, thank you so much. Mirmao, thank you, good night, and enjoy the match, all right? Good luck to both teams, RRQ Akira and Blacklist International. Hope to see you soon. Not the team, but like there, literally.
I would love to go there.
Yeah, hopefully maybe one of these big international tournaments happen somewhere in Brazil or in South America.
Yeah.
It would be a good time, honestly. Honestly, the more that I think about it, and the more I look at the scene growing over there in South America, at least I know who's going to be taking my seat one day.
Hey, it's still our chair. Henry loves the game so much. He's been working in the league for at least the past couple of years, and he's shared a good amount of insights, which helps us understand where RRQ Akira are coming from. It's no secret. Everyone here in the studio, most people around the world, knows about Blacklist. So is it safe to say this is a David versus Goliath matchup or a Goliath versus Goliath matchup?
Oh, I think it's Goliath versus Goliath. That's what I'll say, because both powerhouse organizations and teams here.
All right. Gideon silence, I'll take as a yes. To which, it's up to you. Let's welcome our marshals officiating this matchup as we go into this best of three. We have them on stage. They're here to ensure the fairness and integrity of our games. Rain, Wilbert, Shun, and of course everyone else coming through. That guy who also puts his hand down when it's time to fight. You know what it is. Making their way, their third M-Series straight in attendance. After securing their 5th straight Grand Finals appearance, the Code Breakers are locked and recoded. They are truly top-tier Blacklist International!
Man, oh man, you can hear the crowd here in support for them. But across from them is a formidable force against them. We'll see how they turn it out.
With 6 championship titles under their belt, the Brazilian Kings of Kings look to break the code to open their campaign towards being better than great. Vamos, RRQ Akira!
They've been adopted by a huge organization in Indonesia, but more so, they're undisputed champions in South America.
Look at them in their eyes. They've done this matchup multiple times, yet some things never change. Expect to see greatness, a showcase from these athletes and leading them into the battlefield, their coaches and their analysts. For Blacklist, it's Coach Master the Basics and Dexstar, RRQ, Coach Cabral, assisted by Mariana in the back.
Again, these teams here, we know so much about them already, but I feel like this is the stage. This is where we see possibly a different flavor of them.
Exactly. This is one of those few rivalries that we're hoping is not just one-sided, that finally one day the South Americans are going to be able to reply back, and this might just be it, a small taste here in the group stage.
This could be the start, and Blacklist are fielding their starting 5. It's the Filipino sniper Oheb, Sensui, Agent Zero, UN, the Hitman Renegade.
Oh man, I know how you're gonna feel about this matchup here, Leo. You know,
no secret.
yeah, it's gonna be tough, right? Because again, we have seen this form, this code, if you will, of Blacklist International really develop. You know, just in the recent months, and I gotta say, they've been phenomenal. You know, they had their own struggles, they've recalibrated, and now they have earned their spot here. We'll really see what they bring to the table this time around.
They'll be going up against Gusto Lagusta, King, Astro Thunder, Tekash, Saigon, and the Brazilian GOAT, the Heartbreaker, Luis.
I mean, this team has been growing over a good period of time. They've been maturing like fine wine. And we're hopefully, when we crack that bottle open, it's going to be glory, because this team has that chemistry that Henrique's been talking about. The question is, do they have that level of execution and polish that we've been looking for all this time?
I'll tell y'all a story. I saw them at Gala Night, and they were at the steps, at the base of the staircase, and I tried to say hi to one of them, right?
Yeah.
All of them were there, all 5. They stick together, even in non-game situations.
That's how they're so well connected, right? That's what you want to see in a team of this caliber. And more importantly so, as we start moving in towards that draft, hopefully, especially, obviously, one of my favorite coaches, Coach Cabral, is going to be able to break that code. Unfortunately, not every team or not every coach can do just that.
Not only that, gentlemen, but we have to talk about the fact, too, that, you know, I feel like this time around, the M Series, as our talent predictions come up here, hey, RQ Akira flew to Indonesia, like a month before M5, I think, you know, and to prep. Now, a lot of teams did that. I feel like this time around, a lot of these teams here on the M5 stage had a ton of time to prepare for this, to prep for this. And, you know, now it's time to see exactly what that preparation was for.
It's that month they spent to prepare that makes me think maybe 2-1 won't do this justice.
Personally, for me,
maybe it's more than that.
that's the thing. That's why I'm leaning in towards it's either 2-0. And unfortunately, I can't have double the predictions, right?
You can't 2-0-2-0.
You can't 2-0-2-0 either ways. That's the thing. I'm guessing that if RQ Akira are able to take game 1, the sweep is going to happen. If Blacklist take game number 1, the adjustments, there's just not enough time in a best of 3. Maybe in a BO5, but a best of 3, there's just not enough.
All right, to be honest, Joseph here brought up the fact that there have been teams, coaches, who have figured out how to break the code, so to say, right? In recent history, it was Coach Ducky and Coach Vren right here in this very stage, in this very arena, where they beat Blacklist. Earlier this year, it was Tic Tac and Treb, so it's not impossible. So with that said, looking at the stats, I think the world understands that, hey, say for maybe a few parts of the world, it's likely still Blacklist.
There's a lot of, you know, agents around the world. And rightfully so, because just looking at the history, right, of the organization speaks for itself. But even just looking at RRQ Akira, we heard what Enrique had to say about them. And even back, if we look back at the wild card, right, with Imperio representing League of the Tam, there's a lot of potential growing in that region there, right? Yes, we've seen RRQ Akira so often, so much. We heard from Enrique himself. He would love to see some of these teams, you know, kind of contest that dominance. And I feel like it is happening. But with RRQ Akira here, I think this could be a big statement if they're able to take the series.
You know who else I know would love to see these teams in action? RRQ Akira and Blacklist. All of the fans near EVM Convention Center. Folks, I'm talking to you, all of you who are nearby. I've gotten word that admission is free right now tonight, so we're trying to fill up the already jam-packed EVM Convention Center. You see just a few seats. So our producers here have given me word that, hey, maybe there's a few more seats in the back. I'm looking at a dozen more. Come on down. Just tell me you want to see tonight's marquee main event as we prep up going into the draft.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how this is going to be broken down from the side of RRQ Akira. They've made a lot of good attempts. And, you know, watching their leagues itself, you can see that they are clearly above and beyond everybody in South America. But once you come over to Southeast Asia, that's where the reality starts to hit you, right? That's where you see the level of polish that we've been talking about all this time and why we're so used to it. Look at that. We're seeing the Arlet, the Faramis, the Wanwan immediately banned out for Blacklist International playing on the blue side, and RRQ, Joy, Nolan, a lot of dashing assassins on the red side.
Again, just to put things into perspective, it's a chess battle right now with these generals at the helm. Coach mastered the basics. Coach Dexter going up against Coach Cabral, former XP laner of the lineup that Luis once was part of. Going into the first picks, what's left open? I'm looking at a Matilda still out there. Angela, couple of key pickups. Guinevere, oh!
It's all up. It really is all up. A lot of power picks often, but this varies amongst teams, right? So far, in terms of success rate, blue side, pretty good. And there it is, the Guinevere.
Solid choice, first pick. Again, you know, this is still flexible, at least from what we've seen up to this point. Could even go in the roam, could obviously go in the jungle here. We saw so much, I would say, improvement from Sensui alone over the course of these months here. And also, the fact that, again, they didn't send this group, over to MPLI, right? Because the whole purpose of that was to expand their hero pool. That's kind of what they talked about. They really wanted to prepare for this. Now, begs the question, what's going to happen here with the draft? But on the flip side, RQ Akira already going to lock in the Claude here and that Baksha pick.
I don't know, especially for RQ Akira. As much as I like to believe that Gusta Lagusta, he is a beast when he gets his hands on that Claude. I want him to have a more lane-dominant matchup. I was expecting something along the lines of maybe holding up that Bruno instead of banning it to pick it up for themselves.
Well, in today's metagame, again, we're about 2 days straight into broadcast and the competition. Claude has seen some modicum of success, so it's all about execution, and with the Baksha by his side, they can own parts of the map. Blacklist claps back, putting the Brody into Ohem's hands, and the Lilia in US. This doesn't confirm anything, though, where the Guinevere goes.
Yeah, still up in the air, you know, and I think that's the strength here, the strength play. But these picks coming out really quickly, and, you know, I got to say, it's mostly just how confident they're going to work around showing these picks right now, flexing the Guinevere possibly, depending when we get to that second phase.
Yeah, I think for now, at least hiding it is a very good idea to stay flexible. The Valentina gets locked in for the side of RRQ Akira, just to kind of agree with the same sentiment, right? If you're going to hide your picks, at the very least I know that I have escape mechanisms and tools to finish you off if you are below a certain percentage of health. But as we go into the second phase, right, this is where it gets dangerous. RRQ making sure that, Agent Zero might just get pinched here.
Yeah, no, that's likely the angle. But just the same, is it worth it to attack Edward? Because Tekash also has no hero just yet. I mean, we don't know if that's going to be an XP Baksha, so to say. But at least they have first names. I get it. I see where Cabral's going.
I don't know. It's a little scary to think of throwing this Baksha over into the EXP, because that begs the question, what's so important in the jungle that the EXP must take the bullet for the team. And I don't think there needs to be, it doesn't need to go into that red zone just yet. We see the next man going into the Yutong, and even Blacklist has started to pick up on the idea of what the EXP lanes matchup is going to start looking like.
Yeah, you want to play hardball? I'm game. So now Cabral has to step on the clutch. I think he's talking to Luis. Hey, man, is this a good idea? What else do we do? Do we choke it out? What's going to be left for the young Takash?
I'm really hoping that Benedetta gets slipped through the fingers of both of these teams. Either side will be extremely exciting.
They're both Benedetta specialists.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I'm throwing back to Jakarta. And Takash, that was his breakout hero.
Oh, man, there's the, again, focusing on that XP lane, right? Focusing on that, I think that's the right play here, especially for game number 1. It is that best of 3, and you know they want to start the foot off right because, like you said, Gideon, whichever team here gets that momentum from game 1 is possibly going to bring them to a sweep if they can get there, right? Now, one thing, too, is we know how just impactful XP lane can be right now in the current meta and how it shapes out, especially with such a focus on objectives. Now, one thing we pointed out from the wild card when we were there is that teams, there it is, again, Terizla taken out. What is left for the XP lane? Oh, right away!
We're in for a treat!
Right away. The classics, they're whipping out the classics so quick. Honestly, when I was thinking of classics for this matchup, I'm like, come on. We got to see a Benedetta at some point. We also got to see a Beatrix at some point. But hey, you know, it's still a best of 3. There's plenty of games to be played.
You know what? It's not impossible that we see a Cho from Renegade. Also, a Kaja from Luis. These are key pickups for either team and neither athlete. Both I very love so much on a very deep level, but instead, they pull the trigger. There's the Matilda. We were looking forward to start. And of course, the Edith. All right, you know what? I'm still confused. Nope. Never mind. I know where that Edith's going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's looking real good here, at least for Blacklist International. To me, I think they're the more flexible team, right? It's all about execution at the end of the day and overall team play that really define Blacklist International. So far, I think a lot of weight is put on both Oheb and as well as UA to kind of not only create that space, but be very careful with their positioning. That Benedetta could be deadly, especially with a quick follow-up from a Kufra.
Another. I would say like this is like a signature pick, right? You mentioned earlier what could go in the hands of Luis. This is perfect for the lineup that they're bringing here for game 1.
That's the third in his trinity. The Kaja, the Cho, and the Kufra. Here we go. In just a bit, we're about to get the numbers and the lowdown on these two lineups between Blacklist International and RRQ Akira going into game 1. Gideon, how do you reckon?
The quick breakdown is going to look like RRQ trying to slow down the overall snowball that could be developed by Blacklist International. Keep your eyes on Sensui because he's going to be the big linchpin for this team as they start moving into the mid-games. Those neutral objectives from third turtle onwards is going to be highly contested by RRQ Akira. Hopefully, that's going to be enough for Luis to find that pick.
Here we go. Game number 1. We're loading into the land of Dawn. Joseph, Gideon, the rest of the world, welcome. Join us here for game number 1 between RRQ Akira and Blacklist. Let's notice the early rotations. Which of these teams actually might want to go fast?
Well, personally for me, I think it's going to be Blacklist International. There's so much snowball potential with a hero like Guinevere as well as the Brody, both of which can be enablers to start hitting bigger structures rather than playing for neutral objectives. Because keep in mind, that mid lane, UA has to have a good lock on it, and maybe it could be a potential for Luis to punish, but in most situations, especially when you have Purify, it's going to be a little harder than it looks.
Not only that, but, you know, so far from what we've seen, I feel like we've been focusing so much, even on the roam potential, Luis, even in the jungle. Again, gold lane in this factor with these two teams is going to be huge, right? We already know signature pick, Gusta Lagusta loves this Claude. We've seen it shine, not only in the way that it can turn the tide of some of these team fights, but even the split push potential later on.
I could hear everybody just get a little nervous there, like, oh, Gusta Logusta, you can't be given first blood like that so early on. But keep in mind that a lot of the EXP lane bans were targeted towards Edward, and Blacklist International replied. So that's why King is up here to make sure that Edward feels that pressure, and smart decision by Edward to freeze that lane as quickly as he can.
All right, so pressure down bottom from Blacklist. Up top, it's RRQ. Here they catch him in mid.
We go for Sensui here, but gets out easily with a guiding wind. Again, I'm expecting somewhat of a stalemate until that first turtle comes up here.
Yeah, and even when the first turtle comes up, right, keep your eyes on both the supports. They have a very important role. Like, Renegade not only has to somewhat give information, but also save the team members who won't have their ult in time for the fight or are a little too far deep. And based on what we are seeing from at least the Emblem sector, Yue is making sure that he has the cooldowns to maintain that mid control.
Turtles already spawned. Both teams going for the pull. Blacklist wins. Gonna go for the reset. Looking at the back lines, RQ Akira reinforcing that. Stolen ult is the Primal Wrath. What's gonna happen? RQ gets the pull.
See how they play around it. Sensui gonna jump in already with a spatial migration into the Requiem on the backside. They're gonna go.
What?
Edward somehow gets the turtle. Still, are they gonna fight for it? Renegade gonna go in with that circle eel. Takashi falls into the jungle. Flicker out from Edward. Renegade one hit away and he'll get out just fine.
That's a little upsetting. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Our RQ Akira made all the right decisions, but we're unable to finish off the two low members of Renegade as well as Edward. And now Gusta Logusta is just taking damage as Oheb is having the time of his life down by gold lane. This was one of the few things that RQ Akira actually needed so they can start pressing advantages in the side lane.
I hate to say it, but in the 3 minutes that have elapsed, it's clear Blacks International have a mechanical advantage. Every little inch, the little decisions that you make in the fraction of a second makes a difference. It adds up to about 1,000 gold ahead now, even in the gold lane. That's far isolated from what happened in the turtle pit. You can see that Oheb is giving Gusta Lagusta hell.
Oh man, I mean, I think as long as Blacklist International kind of maintain this pace and not give RRQ Akira that initial burst, then it should be fine, right? Because Oheb's already doing a very good job.
Oh, even there, once again, the focus in this gold lane. Blacklist International knows if they're able to get a kill here, even in the hands of Oheb, it's going to give them a big advantage, and that's exactly what they want to do with this momentum play here.
Gentlemen, they're cracking down on Gusta Lagusta. Luis has to play babysitter. This is not how you want to see the Heartbreaker play. He's so mechanically gifted. He was once in the gold lane, so he knows the little inches that make up a mile. It's just not how he plays to protect his gold laner. This is tough.
Yeah, playing defensively is not ideal, especially when you're on Kufra. There's so much that you could be doing, but at the end of the day, it's still dependent on your teammates. And let's not forget, it's not only affecting Luis, it's also affecting Sagan. The way that he paths, he's fine. He's all right. Thank goodness. Whew.
Still on the black shoes, right?
Yeah.
And he's also rocking Purify. Actually, there's a couple over here. You're going to have to really play around that because even on the other side, RQ Akira has their Purifies as well to deal with a lot of the CC going to be thrown at them. So you can see it. Everybody except these gold laners getting ready for this. Renegade going to go ahead and use that Circle Eagle. Edward jumps in with a flicker. Right on Saigon, gets that black shoes out himself. There's a spatial migration. Takashi's going to fall again. Luis tries to follow up, but he's got no backup as it's a double for Edward. And that's also going to be the turtle secured for Blacklist International.
Deja vu, and they're still not done.
Still going to be going, putting the pressure in the mid lane. They don't want to let up here.
Beautiful stuff. Honestly, really beautiful stuff coming in for the side of Blacklist International. The way that they actually look to punish our RQ Akira is very simple, right? They're looking for Sagan specifically, and even for Edward, he has got his guns out. Gusta is fine.
Oh, no!
Hello.
Okay, jumps in with a spatial migration, though. Luis, thankfully there in time, but it looks like there might want to be a response.
You're seeing here how precise and how exact Blacklist International's movements are. Was this not just a replay of what happened in the first turtle fight? A big win up top, a kill, and then a rotate down bottom, and eventually they convert into a turret up top. They're trying to turn on Edward. Is this the right call?
I think at this point, RRQ Akira need to find anything that they possibly can. Look, Edward, he's trying to protect this turret.
Wow, he does. Keeps it alive, utilizing that Primal Wrath against the two members of RQ Akira.
Like a Chad. He won't let it go. This is like one of those ego challenge moments, right? First item, he decides to go, you know what, I'm going to get Blade Armor. I'm still playing for the team, and it's clear in these team fights that he knows his role. On the opposite side, RRQ Akira, they start to feel this snowball actually piling up. But the real question is, how do you actually approach these situations, especially since Blacklist International, they're not wasting movement. They're very efficient!
They're going to be able to find their target here. Sensui could be in trouble. He's going to fall. RQ Akira grabbing their first kill here. No, wait, second. First kill for Saigon.
Yep, it's their first kill, and they spot out the jungler, Sensui, who, by the way, I just got a note, man. What's going on? His first item after the casual Molten Essence is the Brute Force Breastplate. Is there no better sign of success than excess? You usually don't build brute force breastplate. Like, what was he thinking? Is it because of the damage coverage that RQ Akira has?
Well, that also, as well as the fact that he might be looking for opportunities to actually out-farm his opponent, right? Especially you're up against a Boxio. Let's keep that in mind. The movement speed is going to be useful.
Well, they could use it here for this turtle. They're going to go for it. They jump in, but Sensui somehow steals the turtle away. The retry on point. Takashi falls again. That's the third now. Blacklist International finding the punishes where they can.
Notorious for having some of the sharpest retributions. Dare I say, the best of the best from all of the Philippines, Southeast Asia, the world. Sensui's retribution is notorious. It's world class.
Oh, that's why he's on Blacklist. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa!
Still going to be going for it again, trying to hold down this mid lane. They're going to force him back, but that's just the objective for Blacklist International.
Really good moves coming out from specifically the Hitman, right? He is sniffing out where Luis is. He understands what Kufra wants to do, and if he's able to smother it really early on...
No!
No, he's fine. Look, it's Edward, right? Agent Zero, he's not a prime target for RRQ. Oheb, however, that's where the target is on.
Yeah, no, Oheb's just been silently working. And it's the same, you can say, for Takash. He's just finding these little windows, sneaking through some value, keeping this gold lead under 5K, 8 minutes in. RQ Akira, their map, their real estate, it's shrinking. Where are you going to find farm to put on Gusta La Gusta?
I mean, even with this, like, when they try to find their own moments, that's where the Guiding Wind plays such a integral part of this. Blacklist International is able to just pull someone to safety, and RQ Akira, they're trying to just kind of catch up right now. Just struggle a little bit here. They're 5K behind nearly the 9-minute mark.
Gideon, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Oheb is a world away from Gusta La Gusta. That's almost 2,000 gold.
It's almost 2,000 gold here, right? And if we're talking about like questionable things that are being built right now, I'm already looking at Benedetta. He's going for the Blade of Heptases. It's like a semi-damage, but you're not going for Hunter Strike, which is generally the more efficient item because you need the movement speed to get in and out of these fights rather than the burst. And then he's building full tank after. So I don't know about Takashi right now, but I think he recognizes that his moves are too telegraphed, so we might as well get the stats to buff him up to make sure, even though his opponents know it's going to happen, that he will protect himself.
That's true. Again, we can only really theorize and wonder what's going on in these odd builds. Look at the damage. Look at Yue. Wow.
He is damage.
I mean, that's the best that we can actually put it, right? 12. Well, again, he is so far ahead of the curve. Yue is that important when it comes down to these to the peel from RQ Akira, especially when they find that initial engage, and that's when we see the snowball actually happen, right? It's all part of the checklist. Unlock the Oheb, get into their jungle, start taking them down on neutral objectives, and from third turtle onwards, it's Blacklist International control.
I'm just wondering at this point too, you know, as that is literally a free lord for Blacklist to take here as they march in, where can RQ Akira find these wins, right? Because normally you would think, well, maybe split push would be an answer, but even at that situation, it's too tough to pull off right now.
Yeah, I think one thing for sure is that Sagan is really going to struggle in this match, right? The big game changer is going to be Takashi and Luis. They really need to communicate on the way they actually attack.
All right, luckily enough, RQ Akira has respectable wave clear. They are going to successfully defend in mid. And I'd like to think you're right. And from very different angles, Gideon, Takash off the fight. He has to be very far away to try and, again, control that gold lead, control the map. For Luis, man, you got to get some defensive jumps in.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Again, they're going to lose this mid-turret. Sensuichi's going to jump in, finding the mark. Luis going to fall, and now King to follow. They just get obliterated in the base. Now Blacklist International with the lead. They're going to go ahead and continue to assault down the base turrets of RRQ Akira. Do they cap it out? Edward going to jump in. Takashi falls. Gusta La Gusta trying to keep the game going. Using the blazing duet, but it's not enough as Blacklist International decisively takes game one.
Blacklist welcomes RRQ Akira into Manila with a dominant victory. Game one going over to Black.
Whew. Blacklist International feeling comfortable in their own skin, man. This is why the new iteration of Blacklist International is so exciting to watch. They're efficient, they sometimes can be aggressive, but more importantly so, like the Hitman himself, he is precise.
Not only with that, but again, if you look at just from start to finish of this game, the execution, every roll, every lane, just played the part, right? If you really look at it, it started early on, even into that first hurdle. Things were at a stalemate, like we mentioned, into that first hurdle. And then, very quickly, you know, this is kind of the risk that you take, too, when you lock in that Benedetta. We wanted to see it in the draft. We got that, but unfortunately for Takashi here and for RRQ Akira, it just did not perform the way that they wanted it to, right? And maybe, again, it was a little bit too much risk with the draft that they had here.
We're going to have a moment here to break down exactly what happened in Game 1. We can start with the draft. How about that? It was looking good, actually, because there were some signature picks coming up from RRQ Akira, but Blacklist International, the way that they drafted, with Coach Master the Basics at the lead, he enabled each and every one of them and made them all more than just comfortable. He made all of them do more in the larger scale, in the big picture sense, that adds up to more than the sum of their parts.
I agree. I think that, you know, at least for the side of Master of the Basics, he's going to arm his team with the best weapons possible that he deems worthy. But I think the players really went above and beyond. Like, for an example, we look at Edward. He is playing one of those heroes that is just known to sandbag. This Edith is, you can't do much against it, right? Look at him, MVP for a reason. He shouldn't be winning that lane. He shouldn't be protecting those turrets like that, and yet he does.
Abun Jingjing scores a 503 KDA. Legend Zero, he's known responsible for about 100% of those kills in Game 1. He just knows whenever he comes in, whether by hook or by crook, his ult will deal damage, he will displace with his CCs, and he will win fights for Blacklist International.
I mean, we can see these moments in the highlights itself, right? Right at the very beginning of it all, the overall composition just denies Sagan from getting any valuable ults. And when you look at these moments, the telegraphed motions coming in from Takashi specifically, it allows a template for Blacklist International to look for these big punishes. Because again, nobody's going to be taking care of Sagan in these moments. Gusta Lagusta is looking for opportunities to jump in, but it's only on condition that Sensui or even Renegade don't have their CC. And in most of these cases, it's too late. Why go in with a Blazing Duet when they've already lost 2 or 3 of their members?
Oh, not only that, but as you're seeing here unfold, again, Edward, yes, MVP on that Edith performance, but even Sensui, there's just so many options for them to initiate these fights. And then again, you have this fallback with the Hitman, the Renegade here with that Matilda pick. A lot of the times, even early on, they were just baiting out kind of mistake aggression from RRQ Akira, able to pull them away with that guiding wind alone.
I think for a lot of people, the easiest way to kind of explain this is feints, right? They're throwing out fake jabs. They don't know whether this is an actual engagement or not. And sometimes they catch RRQ Akira slacking because of it, because they're expecting one line of play, but there's multiple angles for Blacklist to initiate an attack. I think RRQ Akira's problem is everything felt a little too telegraphed, right? You go up to a turtle, what do you expect? I know for a fact that Takashi is going to come on in with the Electo final blow, and he, again, Blacklist communicates with everybody, we can punish this. Oheb just stun him immediately afterwards before he gets the eye for an eye, and we get a free kill.
Yep, looking at the item builds, there is the aforementioned Blade of Heptases built on Takashi's Benedetta, and then eventually building Tank. Something to note as well, Sensui with the Brute Force Breastplate. So yeah, I'm guessing he's also playing a game of inches, right? You proc those stacks, you move a little faster, you get a little bit more tankiness, and that's what you need in the early game to expedite your finish 11 minutes in. Looking at the damage taken, of course, there's a good bunch of it on King, the sandbag. Yue, we're not really talking about Yue much. He put Saigon in such an odd position, which I want to talk about now. Saigon, in both mental, mechanical, and technical senses, was struggling. What's his Valentina to do?
Well, there's nothing much he could do, right? And it's highly dependent on Louise specifically. So we can't just talk about like, oh, it's just the mid laners. No. It's a 2v2 in that mid lane, that this dance that's going on between Renegade as well as Yue, who are doing a phenomenal job. Because think about it this way, as Yue is clearing out these waves, what exactly is Renegade doing? He's not just moving to the opposite side of the map. He's clearing specific bushes that you expect Louise to be in to create the space necessary for Blacklist to have that overwhelming push on the opposite side.
And that's the role Renegade played in Game 1. He was the hitman and the wheelman. He was making sure that, all right, the coast is clear. All right, guys, we're getting on out of here. Guiding wind.
I can imagine. Yep. Sunglasses, sends the signal, the squad rolls up.
Baka Renegade to. That's it.
Hey, they made it work. And again, the synergy with this whole lineup, if you guys remember, that first phase of the draft went by super fast because they exactly knew how they wanted to approach this game, and I feel like it was perfectly executed here, right? So when you look at that and how that unfolded, you gotta ask, how does RQ Akira adjust from that alone? And obviously it starts in the draft, probably a flip of sides, but really, like, what is that priority? Because earlier, Gideon, you even said maybe they had let that Bruno go through and then they took it, right, for themselves or something like that, because again, Claude is great, Benedetta is great, but sometimes, too, you take a little bit too long to build up here with some of these hero picks.
Well, actually, personally for me, I have a differing opinion because I think in terms of like overall draft, this is actually as good as it gets for the side of RRQ Akira. I think it was clear that they wanted to actually eventually start attacking the EXP lane, but you got to give it over to the heads, the brains coming in from Blacklist International. They kind of sniffed that out pretty quick to make sure, hey, Edward, you're going to get a sandbag hero, but it's most important that we're able to kind of punish our opponents in the same way for neutral fights. So you be ready, and you better have your ult ready in time to do so. And they played it perfectly, right? So what I think the big change is going to be is the change of mindset of approaching the game. It feels too static for the side of RRQ Akira. There's not enough creativity. They're not loose enough, right? Everything feels so structured.
Well, as we mull over how the draft could change, here's a quick look at how RRQ is breaking their own code. RRQ Hoshi and RRQ Akira have never won a match against Blacklist at the M Series. It's a mountain they have yet to conquer. At M3, Blacklist swept RRQ Hoshi. At M4, Blacklist beat Akira after Akira took one game. At M4 again, in the playoffs this time, Blacklist beat RRQ Hoshi. They went all the way.
So if you're just looking at history here, right, and going with what Gideon mentioned, I guess it is just this mindset, right? Because when you're approaching this, and you know that this is the history, you've been through, RQ, Hoshi, and Akira here, you kind of have to change the mindset. Because regardless of the draft, regardless of the meta that we're in, there's something that's not working against Blacklist International, right? And that's kind of the thing about the code, right? It constantly adapts, it constantly changes, it's tweaked a little bit here and there, but essentially at the end of it all, it's the execution factor from Blacklist International is the biggest component to what's working for them and what's so difficult for other teams to handle.
And let me emphasize that even more, right? History time, everybody. M3, the time where everybody was thinking that Ube was the way to go, the healing meta to kind of stop everybody. But keep in mind that in terms of the overall scaling, it becomes very difficult towards the later stages where you actually have to hold out against your opponent, right? And that's where the big proprietors come in. You not only need stable laners, you need impact laners. That's why Edward is #1 when it comes down to the EXP lane role rankings.
Yep, he's an impact player, and he didn't have to tell you twice. You just see how he plays, you watch his career, you look at the records, the timeline that have been written into MLBB esports history, and it will show you that Agent Zero owns the EXP lane.
I was just going to say, there's a reason why this guy has multiple monikers.
All of them.
Multiple names, right? And even when you're watching him play the Edith, you're thinking like, man, what fits there, right? Because you have Agent Zero, you have Edward Balbo, you have all these things, but really, essentially, that's the thing. And even when we were talking about the draft, the XP lane itself, this is why I love the evolution of the XP lane, because for a while, it was kind of this stagnant lane, for the most part. And then eventually, something happened where XP lane just got a much more impactful role, right? You have these players, you have these heroes now that fit really well into the game, and they are actually able to change the course of even a losing game, right? We've seen XP laners do that before, and Edward there is one of them. So when you look at Takashi across from him, you know that he probably has a little bit of inspiration there, but of course, he's set his own standard, and now when I'm looking at game 2, that's where I'm looking, right? How does Takashi himself adjust with that mindset, with the draft that they lead into? And then how do they pull it off?
Hey, Takashi's on the upper half. He's in the upper half of all XP laners within M5. So there has to be some respect there, and he is at least performing at a level wherein he's not starstruck when he plays up against Edward. Edward is a Hall of Famer, in case you didn't know. A multi-time MPL champion and a multi-time M-Series competitor. And when you watch Game 1 alone, as we reel back into the discussion, Takashi did not show any signs of weakness. He held his own.
That's why he has all of the monikers. Not only is he just Agent Zero, some people, well, it depends on how you look at it. Some might even say he's a sacrificial lamb sometimes, that somehow has a holy hand grenade inbuilt into him for some reason. He is an absolute menace at times. But that's not all, right? That's just the EXP lane. As we start moving towards the rest of the team, the new additions even, I feel like Yue has really found his place with this Blacklist roster. And more importantly, so what makes me most nervous is the entire team smiling on stage. That doesn't feel like a normal thing based on the Blacklist International that I knew back in M3.
They've changed.
They've changed so much.
That's what I was saying, before we went to this. I was like, hey, a couple months that we've seen this development of this iteration of Blacklist International. They are different, right? But essentially, I feel like what made them Blacklist International, like you mentioned, even the Ube has developed in its own way. They have multiple strategies they like to pull out because of the people behind them doing the draft, master the basics, and analyst Coach Dexter there. And that's what makes it work. So even when you look at that, again, really thinking RQ Akira, right? They have their own identity, strategy, and flavor to them. Again, this is a region that is very vibrant in their playstyle, their personalities, right? So when you're looking at them, and even what's across from them, right, and the history and all, again, where do you start to make these changes? Because we always talk about these check boxes you have to check off to get to where you need to do to get to a Game 3, to win a series. And, that's the thing is for RQ Akira, again, I think you can start simple, right? Have a good draft, and then compete against Sensui himself, because the jungle, man, the objectives alone. If we're talking about teams, even from what we saw in the wild card, Gideon, I said this over there too, over in Malaysia.
Yep.
These teams have to be able to win those turtle dances, the Lord dances later on, right? We can talk so much about these other lanes, but really, let's be honest. MLBB, objective, gameplay, team oriented and everything else, but you can't just give up these turtles. You can't just give up these lords, and that's what I want to see here also from RQ Akira in adjustment-wise.
It's a very fast game we played in Game 1, by the way. Not a single turtle going over to RRQ Akira. So where can they start?
Well, I think the way that they can start, one or the other, is either give up the turtle entirely, focus on the lanes, or disrespect them, have all the aggression.
We'll find out how RQ Akira does just that. As we go onto the stage, let's hear from our hosts. They're talking to someone real quick. You're going to want to listen.
EVM Convention Center, welcome members of the Blacklist organization. We've got Indo, Dom, and Kimpoy! Alright, mabilisan lang. Pa-intro niyo nga ang sarili niyo para sa ating international viewers at saka ano ang posisyon na nilalaro niyo.
Hi, ako si Kimpoy, roamer ng Blacklist International.
Ako si Dom, explainer ng Blacklist.
Hello, I'm Rindo, jungler of Blacklist International.
Alright, so mabilisan lang guys kasi malapit na mag-umpisa ang draft. Rindo, ano ang pakiramdam na umabot ang Blacklist International dito sa world stage for the third straight time? Ano pakiramdam mo?
Siyempre, sobrang saya po kasi goal po namin talagang lahat makapagpasok ng M5 tas sana mag-champion ulit kami sa M-Series.
Dom, at thank you Rindo. Dom, I'm sure nakita mo naman or narinig mo yung mga preparation ginagawa ng Blacklist International. Gaano kahirap magtrabaho ang Blacklist International para maghanda para sa M5?
Pulidong mag-prep yung Blacklist kaya alam ko mananalo sila.
Blacklist has been prepping hard, so he's confident they're going to win. And of course, Rindo said earlier that Blacklist International, of course, all of them are very happy because the goal has always been for the World Championship. Kimpoy, fearless forecast. Ano ang final placement ng Blacklist International pagkatapos ng M5?
Siyempre, champion.
There you have it. Rindo, Dom, and Kimpoy. Maraming salamat sa inyong tatlo. Okay, sabay-sabay natin, sabay. Blacklist! All right, let's go, casters.
Thank you so much, Renmar, hanging out with the three who competed on behalf of Blacklist International, part of their lineup from MPLI, now supporting these five on stage as we load back into this best of three. We're going to Game 2. It's match point for Blacklist International, and the question remains, how does RRQ Akira adjust what's going on in the minds of these young athletes? And of course, at the helm, Coach Cabral, he has to wonder, what was wrong? What could I have done better in that draft?
I think a lot of it, it's hard to say that it's one person to blame for it because it's not only the draft, it's about the execution as well. But if we're going with the checklist, I think first things first, we've got to predetermine what style and what level that they want to be playing at. Because number one, RRQ Akira, they were not able to kind of keep up with the tempo of Blacklist International. Maybe for the first couple of minutes, but then you saw the overall mechanical prowess of Blacklist International. So that only leaves you with two options. Either A, you don't interact with them at all, and you play for the lanes, play for your gold laner, and get that snowball running, or B, you are looking to play pure disruption, off-tempo plays, tempo breakers even, times where you can slow down, but instantly speed up.
Here we go. We'll see what kind of equipment and heroes these teams will be picking up on their way into game number 2. The draft is upon us.
Interesting. So we're going to have Blacklist International again on this blue side. We've got RQ Akira there on the red. First band's already pretty much coming through, right? So there's the Guinevere band this time around. They go with that. Let's see what Blacklist International wants to prioritize here. Again, still a lot open that they can go ahead and go with.
Yeah, I like this a lot already. Again, just small adjustments of what is necessary for RRQ Akira. With the first pick going over to Blacklist International, they have so much to think about, right? Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's been a while since we've seen this picked up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's first pick.
Earlier today we did see a Boxia opener as well, right? But coming from Blacklist International, it does kind of tell us a story of what they want to do.
Technically, RRQ did a first pick Baksha as well, alongside a Claude.
Okay.
But this is so much more of a statement. This is more of a message sent.
Yeah.
We're going to do it in just a Baksha. Even while Matilda is out there, even while Angela is out there. And how does RRQ answer? They pick up their own Matilda.
And I think it's a good idea, right? At the very least, if something goes wrong, you have the guiding winds to save them from these problems. And again, it's not like one of those mechanical skill issues. It's all about timing. One button for timing. They take the Brody as well, and it feels like RRQ Akira, it is clear they're not looking for these objectives anymore. It's about the laners.
And it's going to come from very aggressive rotations from the Brazilian GOAT. He's rocking the Matilda this time around, a better hero that can step on the clutch compared to the Kufra, who needs to be very aggressive with those catches. He is the only South American player with 4 M-Series appearances, only missing out on the very first one. He was at M2, believe it or not, at M3, at M4, and now here in Manila for M5.
What's crazy is that his appearance has barely changed. He's still as good looking at M2 as it is now.
He never ages.
I don't know what they do over there, but they're doing it right.
It's probably in their diet, you know? I think they have a pretty healthy diet, Gideon.
It can't just be that. It can't just be that. I saw the trailers. I saw them doing physical activities. I saw them running up their monuments. Come on, it's gotta be a combination of things, as we do see the Bruno as well as the Lilia once again picked up for the side of Blacklist International, and it feels like they've sniffed this out. So if RRQ Akira is gonna be playing for the lanes and trying to break tempo, well, guess what? We're gonna maintain priority in all areas.
Was that the M3 video you're talking about?
Yes.
All right, here we go. That's RRQ Akira closing up their draft here, the first phase with the Akai. I'm liking it already. There's nowhere else this Akai could go. It just has to be in the hands of King.
I like it. A lot of disengage, a lot of ways to re-engage. It's clear where they want to invest their resources into Gusta Lugusta down by that gold lane. Now the question is supplementary. Like, again, we are facing off against UA's Lilia, and that's a lot of control, right? And I think that RRQ Akira are taking a very good approach at locking down. Okay, let's take away team fight, Minotaur. That's one issue out of the way. Second thing, something that can actually supplement the mid lane and zone out the rest. I'm thinking along the lines of maybe even a potential Kufra. I'm thinking along the lines of maybe an opportunity for Angela even. Dinky is pretty... oh boy, everybody's sour-pilled at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like today taught us a lot, right? And with that, I think that's the right choice for them to go with, right? They want to deal with that. They want to be able to set things up themselves and not have to worry about getting these initiations that they're looking for, or even if they have to disengage. Again, this is the strength of Matilda. You can... what you called earlier, the feint, right? The feint, is that right? The feint?
Yes.
To deal with that, to bait out some of these ultimates, bait out some of these engages, and kind of keep them on their feet if they can. So, you know, with that, there's the Charizla ban as well. XP lane being focused on here.
Yeah, man, Blacklist International, they're really testing Takashi at this point of time. They're like, okay, if you want to play structured again, go for that Benedetta. Just one more time.
We dare you. How about it?
He hate turret.
He just does. Oheb and turret don't really go well. Oheb has the highest turret damage in a game in the M series. Homie's at about 42,790 with Brody versus RRQ Hoshi in M4.
This is going to be someone's IGN after today.
I hate turrets.
He hates turret.
He just does.
Oheb don't like turret. Oheb like big damage, break turret, move fast.
Make snipes.
Make snipes, big damn.
There it is. We go. The Novaria picked up by Coach Cabral on behalf of RRQ Akira. That's a lot of range. That's a lot of engagement range and variety for the Brazilians here.
I agree, but it still can get smothered. It's not necessarily a free win just yet, but one of the few picks that I would love to see here would be the Lolita.
No! Whoa,
Darn it!
no,
Darn it!
no!
The classics! They're bringing it back!
Renegade! The double! Mr. Bacarse!
There was cheers for that and the Benedetta.
Hitman! Come on! Oh, for both? Oh, I closed my eyes as soon as I heard the Estes, but what?
Yeah.
This is too much. You guys.
He better be wearing that Blacklist skin. If it's
You
anything
guys.
else, it's disappointment.
All right, we're in for a treat, folks. If y'all don't know, Blacklist is known for these heroes. That's it. They're going for the throat, Gideon.
They are going for the throat. I don't know. In most situations, like, you already have the Akai, but it starts to make sense now, right? Why they're getting rid of the Yuzong, why they're getting rid of the Charizla. You want to group together? Let's look for a punish. And now we're going on a subpar EXP laner in the Grok to try to make sure you stick together, wild charge.
When was the last time we saw Grok XP?
I do recall seeing it in M4. Right? I remember seeing it there, but
Yeah.
it's been a while.
It's a year ago, Joseph.
It's been a year
That's a year ago.
What the?
A year? Thousands of miles away from here. That's a year ago. But all right, the numbers will show very, very soon. Help us make sense of these two lineups. RRQ wins on the counter index, though.
Yes, it looks like they win on the counter areas, but keep in mind, early and mid game goes over to Blacklist International, and even late game potential can be very scary. Right now, RRQ Akira want to play towards that goal lane, and if they have the options to play around neutrals, they will try, but it's not their main focus.
All right, here we go. Game number 2. Match point for the Code Breakers as they execute endgame protocol, picking up some signature heroes, paying homage to the queen. Renegade with the Estes. Who would have thought on day 2 we would have seen this? Let's get into the Land of Dawn. Check out these early rotations. It's a purple start for Sensui, the opposite for King.
Interesting. So they want to end up on the opposite sides of the map at the very least, and, well, sorry, the same sides of the map. But at the very least, we need to understand a couple of things, right? Number one, if we are expecting the... Say it. Hello? Say it! Please.
Okay.
Buddy.
As you were saying. It's very similar as first game.
Yeah.
Heart stopping.
Heart stopping, real, truly. I think at the very least we're expecting, in terms of the quote-unquote the EXP laners, Edward is always going to be able to make it to the neutrals faster than Takashi. It's just a matter-of-fact sort of situation, right? So RRQ Akira needs to add that into their calculations and really protect the gold lane.
It is the skin, by the way, right? So.
Oh, there it is, yes!
Yeah, there it is. And it's funny, too, because as you talk about the gold lane here, Gideon, you know, you also mentioned even the Ube back in what it was M3 you mentioned. So now still Ube going to be the play here for this game. And even looking at the emblems, you can see they mean business.
They mean a lot of business as well. Fighter emblems coming from Benedetta, Atypical, Impure Rages coming all around for the side of Blacklist International, and Takashi having, I mean, he's on the Grok. He needs this Weapon Master to really kind of step up and maintain control over that wave, or at the very least minimize the time he stays in it.
What I'm excited for is eventually what items these two teams build. If the Benedetta will be very different from the way Tekash built it, what kind of Grok we're going to be seeing in the hands of Astro Thunder, and how they're prepping up for this first turtle, by the way. About 5 seconds from now, Blacks International small lead, 2 minutes in.
In case anybody was wondering when Blacklist International skin came out, quickly post that on screen. Every single time it happens, I'm going to mention it. But for now, at least, Takashi, he's going to hit level 4, which is great, but Sagan isn't level 4.
They're exactly where they want to be here. Again, going to force just King out. even with the Electro final blow. Luis gonna jump in with the guiding wind. Takashi looking for his own entry point, holding on to that wild charge.
Whoa!
King, though, will get the turtle. A good choice of positioning there for RQ Akira.
Whoa!
Oh! Almost, but it was Edward that also went down in that exchange.
Okay. Battle spells are already coming out here. Things are looking much better for RRQ Akira at the very least. I mean, Renegades here to top him back up so that Oheb can stay in lane, but here comes Sagan and Luis.
The flank!
They're here. Oheb gonna dodge that shot, so he should be fine. Gonna have the heal as well.
Bang!
Okay, torn apart memory, not gonna find the mark.
Tether's going to keep him topped up, but even Renegade is running out of mana at this point. So again, Blacklist International, as the mid lane is under control, RQ Akira putting a lot of focus down and reinforcing the gold. But even so, these neutral objectives, right, it should have fallen into the hands of Blacklist International, but unfortunately they weren't able to fully reset this turtle. Small mistakes, not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, Blacklist International, with or without the turtle, really makes no difference.
That's interesting. Looking at the gold earned, Takash on top. That means he hasn't missed a single wave, and he's been hitting on cue. Wow. Hasn't really moved. Now Sensui playing footsies with King. Renegade going to be healing him up. Oh, it's not going to break out into a full-on fight.
Yeah, just making their way up here. You can see a lot of the focus, though, once again, where they want to on that gold lane, like Gideon mentioned earlier. This is crucial for both teams here. So, certainly going to be used by Luis, but they just pull back for now. Once again, we're still 30 seconds away from that turtle.
But why, though? But why would you want to go for the Circling Eagle in moments like this? Like, I guess it's just to open up the map, and I think Takashi, at the very least, yes, proxy that wave. Keep Edward stuck in that lane for as long as possible. Get that information about how many jungle creeps are still available down on that bottom side. Relay it back to your jungle and keep control over this top. 6 more seconds until that turtle. And I think this time, our RQ Akira, wow, okay.
Well, the whole team here for this one right now. Once again, both gold laners going to this other side of the map, so they're going to kind of work around it. But if RQ Akira can secure themselves to the second turtle, they're going to be on their way to a better position than they were in the previous game, and right now they're after it. So Blacklist International, how do they answer? King's going to be able to secure the turtle, and they disengage after it. They make the right choice. RQ Akira now gets the next objective.
Okay, it's RQ Akira this time around, playing the game of inches. They're not going to force the issue, not going to go for big wins. Instead, they'll take turtle after turtle, win these lanes, and then eventually, when are we looking for them to get the payoff? Oh, wait, Gusta.
Gusta going to be in trouble here. Whittled down and taken down easily for Yue. Putting him on the board. So caught, again, this is kind of what we expect here with this lineup from Blacklist.
There's your answer, Leo. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Catch them off that rotation and make sure that once Oheb gets his very first item, then he's ready to rumble. More importantly so, right? Keep in mind that at least with King, he does have an inbuilt cleanse. So every time you see Edward trying to go for that, Electro Final Blow into Petrify, it's not necessarily effective, but it does force out the heavy spin.
I mean, in a combat situation, yes. But look at the map. Blacks International finding these windows, finding their angles, pushing bottom lane in. So already the King of Kings' map, very small. Oheb farming up, using that real estate. Look at that. 4K at 6.
Yeah, they're doing well at taking some of well, not really no man's lands POIs like River Crab, but also getting small invades, taking away Kobolds, taking away Beetles at the same time. And I think a lot of it is just well done. Oheb is just very efficient at what he does, and Yue is doing a good job at making sure that Sagan is a little late on that rotate, and even if he does rotate late, he's losing out on EXP. Thus why we see the EXP difference between Yue and Sagan.
Oh, KL1 is eating good. Look at that, almost 1,000 ahead. Sensui catches a face full of CC from these two chunky boys up top. Sensui wants to engage.
Still Takashi, quite tanky himself, should be just fine. Waiting for the rest of the team. He gets whittled down quite a bit though, but Sagan has an answer of his own. But that's the thing. Renegade there to heal him up, and now a third turtle of the game for the takings. Luis gonna go in, circling heal Yue, already taking the brunt of damage, gonna get shot down by Sagan. Still gonna fight it down, heavy spin used, King gets the third turtle. Still gonna fight it out, the wild charge comes through. Edward has to get out of there, but Oheb to answer, finds the kill on Takashi.
Nicely played by RRQ Akira. They force Yue to use the Purify as well as the Black Shoes to pull him out of position, but Takashi, he's so greedy. He's like, one power in nature. Just give me that kill over Edward. Let me hold it above his head.
All right, say what you will about that, biting him in the behind, but something tells me RRQ Akira have to go that fast, have to be just a little greedy, because come the mid-game, and we're fast approaching, by the way, folks, despite being a 0-3 on Turtles, I think Blacks International has a great future in them. And when I say future, I'm saying maybe 2 minutes in, because looking at that last engagement for that last Turtle fight, you have to admit, mana is life and life is mana. As long as Renegade has mana and his skills are on cooldown, RQ Kid have to think about how to use their kit very, very specifically.
And that's why Zagan feels like he's so neutered in this game. It's like, oh yeah, I hit the nastiest skill shot from the longest range possible. Renegade is like, what? Feel that.
That did what?
That did what? Did it happen? Nah, don't worry, it's just a scratch. It's just a flesh wound.
That's one of the strengths, though, here and now. The focus, once again, the landing shot, but Yue going to be healed back up. Gusta Lagusta also picking up that Malefic Roar, so they hold it together here. But RQ Akira needs to be able to go toe-to-toe in a lot of these team fights and skirmishes.
Yeah, and so far still, you see RRQ Akira getting big wins, but it's not converting into real estate. Nothing on the map is going their way.
Oh, King trying to pull something off of there. Already using the heavy spin. Now he's going to be the focus. RQ Akira trying to hold on to this tier 1 in the top lane.
This is actually kind of interesting. I feel like RRQ Akira are getting a little creative with this, right? There is a possible angle where they're able to use the Circling Eagle Guiding Winds to pull King into a back position and use the heavy spin to push them outside of the turret range. It's a radical idea, but I don't know. It's going to need a little bit of testing from RRQ Akira to find the moment to do so.
Yep. Here we see 9 minutes in. Lord spawning in the lower quarter. Looking at the item game, still Oheb 1,000 gold ahead. Takash fails to cancel the recall. What's the item game looking like here? Heptases, Malefic Roar, House Claws, the Fury already onto Oheb. Oh yeah, and again, key pickup here for Yue. The Queen's Wand.
Oh man, I've missed seeing Oheb on an international stage. Just to see him, you blink 1 second and he's already 1,000 gold up, man. And he maintains it somehow.
Let's see if they can once again play around this objective. RQ Akira knew what they had to do going to game 2.
Oh.
They've done an outstanding job still. Can they pull this one off? Louise going to use that Circling Eagle. They're trying to lure Blacklist International towards this side of the map. They got to watch out for Edward as well, looking for his own angle.
Everyone is visible. Save for Oheb. All right, he shows himself. All right, everyone is still visible. The statement still stands. I don't know where this dance is going, by the way. Both of them are willing to crack, I think.
I think both sides actually want to team fight pretty hard, but Renegade is being protected from all angles, and I think RQ want to force out his ult.
Oh, they don't know where Abunjinjing is. The Echo spots out 3, make that 4. They don't know where Edward is.
Yeah, they got to watch out for Edward. He's hugging this side here, looking for his own entry point. He's going to force him back. Edward trying to focus him down, already using the Electro Final Blow. Gusta Lagusta, though, wants to kill. The heals are there. King gets the Lord, and they're going to run for the base. Gusta Lagusta is going to fall, but RQ Akira gets the objective.
Whew, okay. All right, ooh boy, a lot of things are going on in that particular fight, and I think at the end of the day, just well done to King. Despite the chaos and madness, was still able to secure the Lord for themselves. But keep in mind, Oheb, look at him just chunk out these turrets.
All right, they're gonna get the defense on tier 1 in mid, but I gotta say again, Blacklist International is so good on the turn. Something tells me they don't mind losing out on the level 1 Lord.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not Luminous. It doesn't have the added charge to guaranteed structures, and still, even without the charge, Edward is still finding places on the map to squeeze himself in to milk the gold out of RRQ Akira's structure.
Oh,
no, he should be okay,
King.
right?
Yeah, he should be fine. Yeah, he's quite tanky himself, but they're going to throw a lot here, trying to get that mid turret down. But still, Edward doing his own work. This is what he loves to do.
Come on.
Thumbs up, gives it to him, gets the turret. An Electo final blows to safety. He's just fine.
Abun Jingjing wails away, cracks that tier 2 up top with impunity. No one could tell him anything.
Yeah, Mr. Papadopoulos was able to find RRQ Akira slacking. All these motions and movements is starting to get to RRQ Akira's head, right? They got to calm down. They really have to assess the situation. They start overcommitting. That's when Blacklist finds the holes to get that gold in their pockets. Because before this, it was 2-2, dead even. 500 gold difference. Now it's 1.7k only because they were caught slacking.
Yep. Something tells me RRQ Akira is holding out for one more big ticket moment. The clutch that they're looking for, that ramp up, they'll get more aggressive when Takashi says yes, when Takashi says go. Takashi has to hide in these bushes way better. He has to get that flicker while charge more consistently.
Oh, this could be his moment. He's actually looking for it here. They're going to press the go. But they're going to get whittled down here already. King being stopped in his tracks. Meanwhile, Edward pushing the top side. RQ Akira, they've got to go answer to this.
Okay, they at least respect the fact that they know the purifiers are up. If they pulled the trigger and forced it, they would have just bumped into Blacks International, they would have healed and then punished. So at least they know that.
I mean, the most that they would get is probably Oheb, since he's the only one without the Purify. He's just confident that he can get out of every situation regardless. But I think that at least for the side of RRQ Akira, it's starting to get a bit uncomfortable for them because they need their entire composition to be together to actually make something happen. Blacklist International are totally fine playing 4-1 here because remember, Benedetta is just so much faster on the rotation compared to Takashi's Grok.
Dare I say, it can be 3-1-1. It's Renegade and the other two elsewhere splitting up. It's just Renegade plus. Doesn't matter. He's the heel man.
He's now the heel man, from hitman to heel man, and working for this Lord now. Once again, like we saw previously, Blacklist International, they were fine even losing that first Lord, but this one they're going to want to fight. They're going to want to force RQ Akira to dance here, and that's exactly what they do. Multiple anti-heal items also for RQ Akira could help turn the tide of the fight.
Lord Dance already initiated. Blacklist with a slight advantage. Sensui with the pull and the hard reset by Takashi.
Nicely done coming in from Takashi. Keep in mind, King is a level ahead of Sensui, so generally it's in his advantage, but they gotta be careful, right? They gotta make sure that they're cleaning up these waves because Blacklist International are gonna keep pulling them apart. Look, Edward on the bottom side. Oh, whoa, hey.
They're gonna try to sandwich them off here in the mid lane. Yue gets the heal through. Whoa! King gonna use the heavy spin. He's gonna lock down Renegade, but where's the follow-up? They couldn't get it in time. Now Takashi goes in with wild charge, but he's gonna get cut off from the team. Has to flicker out. Everything thrown here, and Blacklist International has the go for the Lord.
All right, good news for RRQ Akira. Louise and Saiken still have their flicker, but bad news is Blacklist International makes a beeline for the Lord. They're blitzing this.
That right there is just gonna be a free Lord here for Blacklist International at this point, and we'll see how they march into the base of RQ Akira. Again, they have work to do. RQ Akira trying to hold down as much as they can in the mid lane. But what can they do with this pressure from Blacklist International?
I think that RQ Akira, they need to, I mean, besides the fact that they need to clean up some of their wave management overall, I'm actually quite proud of them. The fact that they've been able to hold on this long in this particular manner against Blacklist International, of all teams out there, their big plateau that they've been trying to take over since M3. But in the meantime, I think the only way that they're going to be able to get ahead is if they can bait out that ult coming in from Renegade, force him to use it like they did just now. I mean, everything was going well for them. They were getting everything except they were getting stat checked, and the waves weren't in their favor. If you revert back time, if we had cleaner waves and we had the exact same execution, maybe RRQ Akira might have been able to bounce back.
We're looking at 16 minutes game time. Blacks International about 5,000 gold ahead. All waves crashing in, synchronized, orchestrated masterfully by the House of Black. They pulled through up top. Luis very low.
Edward already using that Electro final blow. They still have to deal with the Lord here in the base of RQ Akira. Most likely will lose the second turret as they do in the bottom side, holding on to that mid lane base turret.
Oh, the only one left. The main artery that RQ Akira have to protect. Long lane, dead lane. Blacks International is going to have the Lord dances of their lives. It's so much easier for them to get this Lord coming up in a minute and a half, but something tells me I reckon, gentlemen, might not even get there because Blacklist, they want to push in.
They're going to push it in into the base. RQ Akira trying to hold it down. They're trying their best. They keep them at bay. And with that, they stay in this game a little bit longer.
That was very, very nice coming in from RQ Akira. Very, very nice indeed. Just nice movement coming in from Gusta Lagusta, getting out of the way from especially from the Electo Final Blow, right? Which is the main engage tool for Blacklist International at the end of the day, other than Sensui. But for the most part, you don't want Sensui to be that far forward, and more so that he gets split off. You don't want your front line to get split up from your back line, which is what King has been trying to do this entire game. He's gotten close, but not there. Not almost there, you know, not there just yet.
Okay, the fact that we're looking at 3-2 at about 17 and a half minutes means RQ Akira aren't forcing anything. They're letting these battle spells and these ults do the work for them, and they're paying the price on map real estate, on space, partly on farm. You know, 6K is a pretty hefty gap between you and your opponents, but at least you're not losing immediately. You're still in this. You've extended the game to a point wherein you can learn, you can adjust, and you can force out these engages. And to be fair, I think this Lord, it's not as 100% the Blacklist as it could be. But wait, they're engaging.
Luis gonna go with that circling eagle. Sensui was looking for his own entry point. Has to respect the damage though. Coming out from Gusta Lagusta, now Lord gonna spawn here as they get us situated. Still Edward putting the pressure on the bottom side.
No, RQ and Akira have to get ahead of the game right now. They need to start proxying these waves as soon as possible. All these waves are going to be coming in from every single side, and if they don't get a solid grip on the management, it's going to be a problem, right? As long as Takashi is relaying the information on what exactly Edward is doing, RQ Akira might be able to make it happen. Oh, whoa, okay, that's interesting. Oh, he's actually so low!
He's playing with a little danger here. He still has the Black Shoes and the Purify, so will get healed back up. RQ Akira, though, wants to put the pressure on Sensui. They're going to find the lockdown with a heavy spin. There's the heal, though, but they get the kill. King able to get it in. Takashi goes in with a wild charge, but they still have to turn the tide. Edward leading the front. They're going to back off for now. RQ Akira still looking for more. They're happy with Sensui down, but they got to manage the waves as well into the base.
So many ults spent, so many battle spells spent for taking down one key hero. And they can't even capitalize because, again, as you mentioned, Joseph, they had to send people back home.
To me, I think it's totally worth it here. This is the first mistake we actually see coming out from Blacklist International. And now, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa!
Oheb also in the front of the side here, still dealing with it. Takashi comes to join Edward, though, holding on with that immortality as well. They're buying so much time, waiting for Sensui to get back for this. Once again, Luis with the circling eagle. They'll find Yue. Now Renegade there. King can't find the lockdown on Oheb just yet. Finds him in the corner. Shot's not going to land. He still has the immortality. They have to work for it. Immortality finally popped. Takashi looking for the follow-up. It's only King still waiting for it, but he's going to be whittled down. Guiding wind down. What a save from Luis.
The Brazilian Express from Manila to Rio de Janeiro. He saved King.
Oh my God. I thought Takashi messed up there, but no, all part of the plan. RQ Akira are here to play.
Oh, Edward's not done though.
Edward still keeping him at bay, and this is going to be a Lord for Blacklist International. RQ Akira, they're going to have to recuperate here and wait for Gusta Lagusta to get up to defend the base to stay in this series.
The long con. Amazing situational awareness by Blacklist International. You can mess up the pieces, but you can't beat the master plan. Amazing recovery from Blacklist, despite having noticed, if I'm not mistaken, the longest guiding wins I've seen in quite a while. They still have their eyes on the prize. Amazing Lord pickup, an evolved Lord scored by Black.
They're going to go ahead and zone out Sensui here with the wild charge as well. Immortality going to be popped, but Renegade and Oheb here, they want to get back to the base. Edward trying to cut them off, focusing on Gusta Lagusta. Has an immortality of his own. Lord now making its way down the mid side as well. RQ Akira trying to hold it all together here. They're going to clear the waves. Immortality from Edward already popped. Still working for it. Takashi keeps him at bay. Sensui falls. Torn apart memory. Goes through. It's a double for Gusta Lagusta. The shot gonna land. Luis goes in, but they're done. It's a disaster for him as he gets taken down. But they stay in the game. RQ Akira with a defense.
Overheat. Overheat.
Blacklist International could have ended right then and there. But RQ Akira took down the minions, attacked the Lord, and believed in whatever's out there and said, you know what, we're not gonna go down like this. Not here, not now. Here's the instant replay. I could have sworn that was it. I could have sworn there was like a minion here, a minion there, and the Lord, I guess they were out of range.
I mean, look at it, right? All of it boils down to, does Renegade have his ult? That's all it boils down. And if we're thinking, hey, Blacklist, they're the ones who overheated. Guess what? RQ Akira do the same. They feel the exact same way. I'm an empath. Of course I know.
Whew. Okay, to be fair, it's off of the back of Luis's claw, and he believes there was enough damage remaining from those who were ready to take it, and I guess that's where it all crumbled. That's a clear sign of overheating. So now, we got a moment to breathe. We can digest what just went down. I gotta be honest, still not looking great for RQ Akira. They've yet to crack anything from Blacklist.
Of course, they're not cracking anything off of Blacklist, but you can see that the ideas and the execution is becoming cleaner and cleaner as the game goes by. And strangely enough, Blacklist International finally getting punished for some of their mistakes. For an example, when we saw by that very second Lord, we did see Yue actually get chunked out, forcing Renegade to have to move away from Sensui to cover his butt and make sure that he's topped up. Instantly, we see RRQ Akira jump onto Sensui, and that's what started this bounce back from RRQ Akira.
And so far, RQ Akira have been getting better, right?
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned this, at the 16, 17-minute mark. Hey, they're learning. They're figuring out how to actually isolate members of Black from this Uber recoded, this Uber as it's known locally. I'm wondering what's next. I guess people have to stop overheating, and I have to admit, RRQ Akira is just outnumbered. You see the agents on the stands?
There's a lot of agents out there.
It's going to be a very, very silent haul if RRQ Akira win this. And I think that at the very least, when we're looking at the game as a whole, right, with some of the sloppy mistakes that happen, well, not really sloppy mistakes, but just like the general housekeeping, you know, you let the dust build up inside the corner, and all of a sudden it's a hornet's nest, right? It's the worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario. But you get the idea. These things start very, very small and build up very, very quickly. This is how Blacklists are able to etch out wins against some of the best teams in the world. They catch you slacking. They catch you throwing, taking your spare change ever so slightly, and then it eventually builds up. I think that at least for RRQ Akira, the execution has kind of, been minimized compared to game number one. But if they want to win this game, if they can get Renegade to use his ult super early on and find a way to at least forcefully take Sensui away from that fight, there's an opportunity. And, well, keep in mind, that big target, that hit marker, it's not just Sensui. If they can get Oheb, that might just be game over.
Well, JC Sumandal says it's game. Indeed, it is game. The mandate of the King of Kings say, get the ult off of the Hitman, get those purifies off, and then we're talking business.
And with that, we're 30 seconds away from this next Lord here. So RRQ Akira, you gotta give props to them. They've done a great job. Their base has been exposed for a while, but they're staying in this game. And now we get to the point of this game where, immortality start to play a role, Wind of Natures, the item jungling, and everything else between both these teams. Look at the real-time win rate.
All right, 75-25, that's pretty reasonable. That's not bad. All right, can I just say, I'm surprised. The gold lead just shrank, in a snap, down to 700.
It's honestly not as bad as it seems, other than the fact that the structures are missing and they don't have any inhibitors. But considering that, Luis is very clearly subscribed to Grab Unlimited, he is saving his members time and time again.
He's got that super app.
He's got the super app.
Anything you need, man.
Anything you need.
Shields, heals,
Wait a second.
positioning,
Hold up.
damage. He has a good amount of wisps.
He's got a good amount of wisp, but Sagan is really starting to double up on the damage compared to everybody else. The poke is actually putting in a good amount of work. And not to mention that Gustavo. Whoa!
Edward could be in trouble here. Gets away fine, though. Torn Apart Memory was going to be used as well.
Oh!
Dodging that shot as well. He backs off, trying to get back to base.
Close.
But RQ Akira did it. This is what they wanted. They wanted this positioning for this Lord to at least start it up. Blacklist International, though, still here, healing back up with the heal man. And Luis taking the brunt of damage himself.
Okay, they need to go for the pull this time around, especially since previously, Gusta Lagusta, they know where he was. Big Astral Echoes there. spots 3, maybe 4. Oheb protects his position. All right, here we go. RRQ Akira finally able to pull the Lord out.
This has got to be really annoying for RRQ Akira, right? They want to play a standard game, but they always have to do the housekeeping every single time. Chores. Blacklist International can patiently wait it out. It's not, the onus is not on Blacklist International to do anything here. And if RRQ Akira really want to start rolling the dice, I'm confident Sensui is probably going to win that out, especially considering that at least the Grok, he needs to be nearby, but at the same time, you got to clear that bot side.
And not only with that, again, Luis
Hello.
gonna go in with a circling eagle, keeping them at bay, still dancing for this Lord here. It's about half health. RQ Akira finding it very difficult to find this own positioning to favor them. Blacklist International knows that they're whittled down a little bit. They don't have as much heal as they do.
Oh no!
So Edward gonna force them back towards that side. Sagan gonna look at the damage there. They gotta respect it. Yue holding down that mid.
Man, if somebody is going to make TikTok... Whoa! Okay, no. They're not going to completely commit to this, right? They're not. Okay, they're going to back off. Thank goodness. Because if anybody's going to make TikTok content, you should see how quickly Blacklist International make that decision. They all of a sudden, they see Sagan on that top side. Let's start taking space. Sagan disappears. They start giving away space.
And slowly but surely, RRQ Akira have garnered up quite the lead. 1,000 gold ahead already. 26 minutes in. The patience between these two teams, faded as they are to face off against each other year after year after year in the M series. It's coming down to this, the fact that we might see a game 3 because RQ Akira have been learning. They've been figuring it out and they've been taking care of their lanes, their waves.
Real talk, boys, at what point do you start screaming into your secret lab chair hoping that something is going to happen? Because I don't have the patience, and that's why I'm not a pro.
It could be here again. Edward jumping to the backside. Lord, a fourth of the health. Luis goes in. Oheb gonna get pushed back. Sensui also half health. Torn apart memory already gonna be used. Still whittling it down. Yue holding the front line and healed back up through Renegade. Lord resets again.
Drats foiled again. Both teams holding on. And again, the patience from both of them. They both know. They both are championship caliber world-class athletes. They know that patience is what holds you down, what changes the fact that you're still here and you're not losing. But wait, King holding this push.
They're trying to cut them off here. King could be in trouble. Heavy spin. Still has the immortality. Lord, is it going to go for another reset? Both teams still respecting the damage possible here. It's whittled down. It's going to come down. Sensui gets the Lord, wins the retry battle. Now Luis on the run alongside King. They have to get back to the base. They have to get ready for this defense.
That's a fumble. That's a fumble if I've ever seen one.
The problem is that the fumble happened so far away, right? Luis overextends, uses the circling eagle, jumps toward where King was hiding, forcing him to use the heavy spin. That was his only way to keep himself clean from CC.
Something tells me it was Blacklist International's initiative as well to let King and Luis take that long bush down bottom to position them for the perfect. Something tells me they manufactured the fumble.
They manufactured the I mean, I gotta hear some mic checks to know that for sure. It's all theoretical, but well played so far for Blacklist International as RQ are on the defense.
They have to stay in the game.
Oh,
Edward
no!
to jump in right on Gusa Lagusa, forcing the wind of nature. Lord gonna be half health. They have to work it out. King using heavy spin. Can RQ stay in for this game? Torn apart memory gonna be used again. Luis gonna fall. Base going down. The code is strong as Blacklist International sweeps this series.
History repeats itself as a Blacklist International once again defeats RRQ Akira in tonight's closer.
Oh man, as Blacklist International walk off the stage, at least RRQ Akira have left an impression. I'm not seeing too many smiles up there. It definitely shows that the rest of the world is slowly watching and creeping up on Southeast Asia.
Hey, if you're able to take Blacklist close to 30 minutes, you're doing something right. You pushed them to their limits. You made them have to figure out a way to make that Lord Dance go that way. And look at this, the show sponsorship between these two teams. Hey, I face after year after year after year. They've evolved. Look at that. Luis, man.
Love to see it, man. Again, sportsmanship here. And like you guys mentioned, there was massive improvement this time around for game 2, right? You're looking at game 1, you look at game 2. This was quick learning, quick adjustment from RRQ Akira. Hats off to them for staying in that game even with an exposed base for so long. We'll see how that kind of transitions for the rest of their matches throughout the group stage here.
I think the only thing that RRQ Akira can really hold themselves accountable to is not the overall gameplay that they had in game number 2, was the fact that game number 1 went in that particular fashion, because what? It felt like they were hiding it for so long in game number 2. When did that happen? Could have that happened in game number 1?
Well, I'm happy it came out anyways. Either way, this is the gift that keeps on giving. M5. We're here for it, and who'd have thought that we wouldn't have closed day 2 without seeing a return to form for Blacks International, picking up that Estes, which caught him a win. Now, I'm wondering who's going to be getting the MVP nod. You guys have any guesses?
MVP?
That's a tough one.
Something
I'm not
tells
sure.
Something tells me it's pretty spelled out.
Don't lose focus. That was spelled out.
That's one way. It's the heel man!
The heel man.
It's the heel man! Paying homage to the queen, of course. Again, life is mana and mana is life, and he made sure Blacklist was ready to take on any fight, and he never died. 106.
Literally an ult that is a linchpin for the entire composition, a big deciding point. Does he have it or does he not? The heel man strikes again.
Not to mention the 100% there. He was everywhere he needed to be, on point with the heels. We knew, even taking a look at the highlights here, we knew how integral that was for a lot of these moments in the game where they're able to turn the tide here in some of these early fights especially.
Yeah, I think that RRQ Akira should not be disappointed here in game number 2. They really played a solid game, some great decision-making overall, and actually forced out a couple of mistakes coming in from Blacklist International themselves, which doesn't happen very often. So, again, big hats off to RRQ Akira. But the things that we need to keep in mind is the fact that the small things, making sure that the side lanes are clean, making sure that you're able to stay on top of the minion waves and these smaller POIs, whether it be River Crab, whether it be Litho Wanderer, it needs to make those small things to have that difference.
Check it out. This is that defense that a lot of us thought would have been it, right? But Blacklist overheated, RRQ Akira overheated, and then we got a reset, and we watched a game that lasted maybe 10 minutes longer.
Again, with instances like this, when you get to these, late game potential here, things can turn around really quickly. And, really, even down to that last Lord, if it would have gone another way, where, for example, RQ Akira was able to secure that, we possibly could be going into a game 3. So again, it was a very well-timed initiation and just dance for Blacklist International in that one.
It really was, and I think, both sides definitely showed a lot of heart in that particular battle here. The patience coming in from the heel man himself, and more importantly, when we were looking at King specifically going for these contests, he was able to get a level ahead, which kept RRQ Akira in the game for this long to make it into that 20-minute mark.
That's right. He made the call. He made decisions wherein instead of trying to sandwich heroes into walls, he would have done it to minions to try to space him out. I think that's what bought them their second wind at the 22-minute mark, and then eventually they just got overloaded in the 29-minute mark, close to 29, 28, 27, wherein they were just falling like flies.
Yeah, and I even like Gideon pointed out, some of the usage that was being done by RQ Akira for King to find those lockdowns when he could worked out, but eventually, again, Blacklist International was able to just adjust from that and find their own moments of brilliance throughout this game and resulted, yes, it was a longer game, one of the longer ones here so far, up to this point, but again, execution and how they adjust real time in the game, it really worked out here for them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the damage taken, and I feel like the numbers aren't adding up here. King taking at least 281k. I'm looking at Louis' 222k, but Sagan's damage earlier was looking really, really good. So, I don't know. It looks like at least when we're doing these calculations, the heal plays an integral part for this composition.
Yeah, it does skew the stats, because again, how often do you see Estes in the world stage? I'll tell you, I'm hoping we see it more often. And again, at least we now know one team for sure is ready to serve, ready to satisfy, and that's Blacks International. Again, it's in their DNA. Of course they have the skin.
a good way to, I feel like, kind of cap out the day here, right? We started with a very long series, going the 3 games. I know you were a part of that. And we end the day here with, of course, these 2 sweeps that we witnessed. But again, even when you break down, yes, it was a sweep, but the learnings that can happen here for RQ Akira and how they adjust. I mean, even, we saw some of the changes that happened for some of the other teams, like, Burmese Ghouls even, how they kind of adjusted from their day 1 here. So once again, how they break this down, they adjust before tomorrow ahead of us. In a little bit, we'll be looking at all how that's going to play a part, right? Because again, things are a little dicey here for the group stages this time around for M5, and we know that time is of the essence.
Yep. Again, for those of y'all who don't know, in this World Championship, the group stage consists of 16 teams. After such, when we go into the knockouts, we'll be cutting down to just 8. So half of these teams will be getting knocked out before we go into the knockout stage. So in just a bit, we will see what today's matches mean for the records, for the standings, and then we'll talk about who is going to be in danger and what other possibilities are left, because again, the math sometimes don't check out and you have to just play like it's your last.
Exactly. That's why a lot of these teams are looking for 2-0s. In about a moment here, you're going to see why this matters so very much as we see all the groups and the way that it's going to, mathematical-wise, who's going to make it into that top 2.
That's right. We have had matches from groups A to D all throughout tonight, best of 3s. Let's talk about the starter here. Group A. Onic on top clearly with a 2-0 victory, 1-0 record. They're fine, but not looking so good for the Brazilians in BTR.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, right? This is a pretty tough group itself, and I feel like they were underhanded here because one of their worst matchups weren't dealing with Onic, but specifically See You Soon, a game of rock, paper, scissors, thus the 2-0. We go down over in towards Group E, and Blacklist International evening up against Fireflux Esports. RQ Akira, don't worry, they still have more matches to play.
And again, for Group C, that's danger territory, right? Burmese Ghouls there. Very tough for them. And Group D ahead, lots of close, points and how those contenders will battle it out. But of course, tomorrow's schedule here, it's going to be action-packed.
That's right. We're finally going to be seeing MPL MENA's very own Triple Esports going up against See You Soon. Right after that, the debut of Team Lil Gun on the world stage going up against Team Flash. And then the bounce back, TOB going up against Geek Fam, and then we'll close off with Blacklist once more. I hope to see more familiar faces here at EVM as they face off against Team SMG, straight out of the wild card, recovering from their loss against Fireflux.
A lot of teams that have taken a loss already, looking for some kind of redemption, they've got difficult matchups. Geek Fam and the Blacklist International for these teams, I don't know about this one. It's going to be quite sweaty.
I can't wait to actually now see, after, from the wild card, seeing Lil Gun play tomorrow, Team Lil Gun. I love their story. I love just how what they've overcome to get to this point. And I know we'll get to, a lot of people want to see them play against some of these, obviously the best teams out here on the M stage.
I'm excited to see how those teams who are in the danger zone suddenly pull a Hail Mary and actually run through. It's possible. I don't think we have any team clearly eliminated, but with that said, it's been an honor to be at your service all throughout today's matches. We would like to end the day with 4 incredible series, and half of them went all the way to 3. Once again, we would like to thank our sponsors. The M5 World Championship is powered by Moonton, presented by Kadia, and supported by ROG, the official gaming phone. Grab, the official Super App partner, and Secret Lab, our official chair partner. On behalf of everyone who has been at your service on the desk, whether it be for the Filipino side or here on the English desk, it's been an honor at your service. My name is Leo, that's Gideon, and this is Naisu. We'll be thrown over to our host to close up the night.
Woo! Our groups are beginning to take shape after the second day of the M5 World Championship group stage. Yesterday's matches saw dominating teams bringing home sweeps after sweeps, but today's matches were definitely a little bit more intense. Emerging MLBB regions continue to impress on the World Championship stage, and if anyone's going to ask me, not only is that a good sign for the rest of our World Championship, it's also a really great sign for our future. But before I get ahead of myself, of course, let me remind you that we still have 4 more days of group stage. left for us. I wonder, how will the standings shift in the next days? Will we see more surprises before advancing to the knockout stage? Spoiler alert, it's the World Championship. I think we're going to be seeing a few more surprises here and there. Let's find that out together. So do join us again tomorrow. Once again, I'm Reptar. Good night and good fight. Once again, reminding everyone in the pursuit of victory to be better than great. Good night, everyone.
Making my grind good to great, so don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I my arms. 'Cause I know just what I got. I got you like na-na-na. And you know I hold the power. This feeling I love. Oh, yeah. Making my grind good to play. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. Lay our first, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great, great. If we stand tall and believe, we can make it, you and me. With a sense of urgency, you'll see I'm better than great. I'm better than great. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm better than. Making my grind good to great, so don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. Lay our first, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great, great.
Hit me like I might kick over, but you could give me in no corner. I know I can make a comeback, ace this round and finish this game now. Got the power on my shoulders. Yeah, you know that I'm a soldier. You could keep me off my guard, but you can't keep me from my honor.
Na-na-na, I feel like the floor is over. The energy's getting higher. You're saving my arms. 'Cause I know just what I got. I got you like na-na-na. And you know I hold the power. This feeling I love. Oh, yeah. Making my grind good to great. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. We are first, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great, great.
Can't get it great, I'm better than great. I play my own role, I become the greatest. Transcend myself into this game, yeah. I build a power to dominate fate. Championship mind on top of the week. What's up to the game? Shot reveal. Better than great, that's how we feel.
I feel like the floor is over. The energy's getting higher. You're saving my arms. 'Cause I know just what I got. I got you like na-na-na. And you know I hold the power. This feeling I love. Oh, yeah. Making my grind good to great. So don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. Lay our first, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great, great. If we stand tall and believe, we can make it, you and me. With a sense of urgency, you'll see I'm better than great. I'm better than great. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm better than. Making my grind good to great, so don't stand in my way. Standing tall and I won't fall over. We are better than great, girl. We are better than great. We stand tall, won't run away. Lay our first, nothing gon' change. Great, we are better than great, great.
Hit me like I might kick over, but you could give me in no corner. I know I can make a comeback, ace this round and finish this game now. Got the power on my shoulders.